Alright, BobalosRex here. And we gotta talk. We gotta talk about hero talents and what's next. Well, I've been thinking about hero talents and what's next. I'm sure other people have thought about what do you do with hero talents now? So, let's think about what hero talents are supposed to be, not what we may have thought they were going to be or whatnot. Let's look at what they're supposed to be. So, we got the new talent system. And then Blizzard was thinking, what do we do? Do we just add more points? Do we do this? Do we do that? And then they were like, they took covenants, soul binds, in a way, gave us choice in aesthetics, and gave us talents that way. So we basically choose 10 talents with some Mop Pandaria talents in between, which is basically what it is, right? So you do the minimize. It's, well, I mean, these are already Mop with the normal talent. Either way, you just have this now. And then some aesthetic or gameplay change in talents. But that's what they did. Okay, so that's what hero talents are. Now, what do we do next? That's what I've been thinking. Like, where do we go from here? Because in Midnight, we're going to get something in regards to this, for sure. But will we see something in the War Within? So, I basically come up with, like, there's basically 3 directions they go. One is something to do more later on in Midnight. The first 2 they could kind of do in the War Within, but let's get into it. So, what is one thing that they could do for other classes? Oh my god, I'm out of frame. What is one thing they can do for other classes that wouldn't work for the one I'm on? They could give us access to the other talent. So, say I was a monk. Instead of just the 2 options, I get all 3 as Windwalker. I get all 3 as Brewmaster. I get all 3 as Mistweaver, right? Now, there are a couple of classes where that changes. For Druid, would you get all access to all 4? Now, that could be cool. All 4? Access to all 4 Druid hero talents? That would be cool. But then for Demon Hunter, what happens? And then I was thinking, and this is where my conspiracy comes in. If they do decide to open up talents for all, then we see the 3rd Demon Hunter spec. So they add in the 3rd Demon Hunter spec and then open up talents for all, so it would work for Demon Hunter. And Drew would just get extra, which is, you know, it is what it is. Alright? So that's one thought, right? They just open up the talent, the hero talents, to the spec that doesn't have whichever one. Okay? Next is, do they add a hero talent to every spec? Because that's the thing. If they can add a hero talent to a class, would it be class-wide? Could they add class-wide hero talents that would work for all 3 specs, so all 3 specs get a 3rd option? That could work. That could be interesting. So in Demon Hunter's case, they just add a 3rd one. A 3rd hero talent that would be like, oh my goodness, that would be something to think about. New hero talents for every class. I don't have any up on mine, but yeah. So you would just add a hero talent that would go for all 3. So that could work. That wouldn't be as much work. Okay, and that could be thematic to the whole class. Like, it would be like a side archetype to the whole class, right? So maybe Dark Ranger would have been for all of Hunter instead of just the two of the three, and then they have a different one for that, because Dark Ranger is kind of like this whole other archetype of Hunter. So they could do something like that. Say, let me think. There's some that I think would work, like Totemic could work across all three. It'd be something interesting to think about. So just add a new hero talent, but it works for all three specs. Or they could just add a few. But then here's the thing. If they add just a few, some people would feel left out, right? Say your class isn't one that got a hero talent. You're just like, what the fuck? So there's just nothing new for rogues or whoever this patch. That would suck. So those are the two options for hero talents, right? For the most part. You either unlock them, which is just you add brand new ones to every spec, or you add ones to each class that work for all three. Then I was thinking about, okay, so some of that stuff you could add in the War Within. Maybe they wait till midnight to do stuff like that with the hero talent system. But then I was like, if they're going to do midnight, I feel like they can't just add one hero talent now. Okay? So for midnight, what are we doing? So here's my speculation about what we could maybe see in midnight. So do we see more talent points? So 5 more points here, 5 more points there, some extra capstones. I mean, 5 points ain't getting us far. Maybe they can do 10 and 10, so we get 10 for our 10 levels that we got during the War Within that went into our hero talents, and they just give us like a whole extra row with 10 and 10 on each side. Then it would be getting big. Could we see some kind of cross-spec kind of thing going on down here in the talents? Like, so you got hero talents here, you got our main class tree, that class tree, and then like something here. I was also thinking they could add new specs. Y'all know I got videos on new specs. But that's the thing. If they add new specs now, they have to add at least one hero talent to each spec. All right, to each class if they add a new spec. And then if they add a new spec now, they have to add a new hero talent as well. So think about that. So when they added Og in Dragonflight, right? They would, have to have added a hero talent spec for them as well. Which would have been the Demon Hunter problem. So we would have had 2 for Devastation, and then they would have had a third one. Right? That is like, okay, well, you give that one, and then which one of those 2? But then did you take one from another? And then that's what I'm saying. We can maybe, I think we're going to get 3 options with hero talents in the War Within. But who knows? Let me know what y'all think what we're going to get with hero talents. Because, like I said, there's only... I laid out 3 different ways. So, you either open up talents, add one for every spec, add some for just a few, and then later on in the War Within, either add more base talents, or we get a whole new system on top of this. Alright, so very interesting. And think about it, when we get a new class now, it's going to also, if it has 3 specs, it's also going to have 3 hero talents. So, there's a lot going on with class stuff. Tomorrow's lore rant is also going to be about class stuff. I'm trying to cook up some interesting stuff, but there's been this class survey that I'm going to go over tomorrow, and I'm excited for new class stuff if we get it. I'm excited because I actually like the idea behind hero talents, and some of them are better than others. Especially, I think I like the aesthetic of them. You know, using them as a talent system, I think, is fine because, you know, talent trees will get bloated over time in a game like this, and this was a cool way to supplement that. But then where do we go from here? You know, are we going to have Hero Talent Plus, Masteries, something down here? Who knows? When we go into Midnight and beyond. But anyways, lore rant tomorrow. I'll see y'all then. Bye-bye.